Hi, welcome to RMS Real Estate Team Channel. Home tips when buying your new home. Welcome to today's episode of Homes Property Tips. Today we're going to be interviewing Greg Dooley of Secure and Property Inspections. You always want to have a home inspection before you purchase. Whether you're a seller or a buyer, it's always a good idea to have your home inspected. Greg, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm a full-time home inspector doing properties ranging from modular mobile homes all the way up to multi-bedroom, 12,000 square foot homes, anywhere you can think of. We'll pretty much travel anywhere within a range of LA County and some other areas if we have enough time schedule-wise. But for the most part, the bulk of the business is in Santa Clarita and Antelope Valley and also the San Fernando Valley area.
Great, great. One of the most things that people ask me is, what do they inspect? What do you guys do? What do you inspect with the home?
Absolutely. So I would tell people in a nutshell, the easiest way to think of a home inspection would be if you were going to go to a doctor to have a physical checkup done, your yearly checkup, they're going to go over the whole broad range of everything from head to toe. Pretty much similar to what we do with the home inspection. We're not taking things apart. We're not dismantling systems within the house. It's a general visual, non-intrusive, non-destructive testing of systems. So that basically means every outlet, every light switch, every window, all of the appliances within the house, and then the big ticket items that people are most fearful about buying houses. So those would be your things like your roofing, your plumbing, heating, air conditioning. Those are usually the biggest issues of them.
Okay, great. Normally what I do is I tell people it's the mechanical workings part of a house. So that's what they do. Now, you don't fix things, right?
Correct. So a home inspection is a black and white. There's no gray area involving a home inspection. Something either is working or it is not.
Okay. All right. Now, I've got a question for you. Is that there's different criteria for like some parts of LA County, specifically the San Fernando Valley versus out here in, no, sorry, San Fernando Valley versus Santa Clarita Valley versus Palmdale. Tell us a little bit about the differences if you can.
Correct. Some areas in LA City, well, LA City in general has different guidelines as far as certain like gas lines where the natural gas meter comes into the house. They're required to have what's called pretty much essentially it's an automatic gas shutoff valve. So if there is an earthquake, most of them are rated from a 5.0 and below or above. If there's an earthquake, it'll trigger this automatic valve that'll shut off the gas into the house. Other areas of LA County don't require things like that. But for the most part, all areas require water heater straps that would prevent a water heater from tipping over. There's numerous things that we go through in the inspection to check all throughout the house, ranging from the foundation all the way up to the roof.
Okay, great. And when you go ahead and discover something that could potentially, how do you notify or what do you put down on the report?
Great question. So now touching back to where I initially said, think of the home inspection as if you go to a doctor's office for a physical. So the home inspection, if you think of it as a physical, we go through everything, and if we find any issues, say we go to turn on the air conditioner, the furnace was working fine, it was getting hot, but we go to switch it on the air conditioning, and the air conditioning condenser doesn't turn on. Our job is not to determine what the issue is. Our job is to then tell you it would be a good idea to have an HVAC, which is an air conditioning and heating technician or contractor, come out to further determine. Much like if you went to a doctor's office and you had a physical done and your knee's hurting, that doctor's not going to know what's wrong with your knee or how to fix it. They're going to refer you out to another specialist. So that's pretty much what we go over everything general. That's why they call it a general home inspection.
Okay. And kind of a misleading question or a leading question here. Who shouldn't get a home inspection?
That's it's a very common question. Sometimes I get buyers, most of the time it is a new construction. New construction, they sell them on the fact that the house has a warranty or a 1 year or a 10-year warranty, but that also can come as a double-ended side for the person buying the house because they're going into the house thinking and assuming that everything's perfect from top to bottom. And there's only a handful of things that the actual county or city inspector is going to be going through and looking at that house for these certain bullet points. And if all those issues are taken care of, the permit's signed off. But the inspector from the city, he's not coming out to check every light. He's not coming out to check to make sure every outlet was wired correctly, or that the heating and air conditioning system is working properly, or the appliances within the home. And those are big ticket items that if they're missed and you don't get the home warranty or the builder's warranty to take care of it within that first year, it's going to end up on you to fix it on your own. So in all reality, a lot of people now, especially the way the market's moving so quickly, they're having us do home inspections prior to listing the house so they can get ahead of it, fix whatever the major issues are, and then they can confidently and comfortably sell their house sold as is. So they know ahead of time what's going to be going into it and what the buyer could potentially be asking for.
Great tip. Great tip. That's so important that the homeowner goes ahead and feels very comfortable and confident that their home is going to pass eventually the buyer's inspection, so they don't have any worries. Because you're right, homes are going so fast that sometimes the buyer doesn't have a chance to go through all the inspections, even though he's ordered one, but to go through all the paperwork to find out which ones he wants to have fixed and which ones he doesn't.
Absolutely. And it's another good side angle on what you just said. If you're selling your house, the inspection's done within the contingency period, anywhere from, I've seen it as low as 5 days on up to 20 days. So if you're selling your house and the inspection's done closer to the end of that contingency, if you have 2 or 3 days left and you have to rush to get those repairs done, sometimes the contractors who have to do those repairs are licensed contractors. They're busy just like everyone else in their daily life. So if it's something urgent, they might not have time to come and get those repairs done in a timely fashion.
Great to know. Great to know. So when you do your report, I know it's broken down into parts, the ones that should be fixed, or not should be fixed, but ones that should be looked at or investigate, and those that, okay, we found these things, but they're minor, but you do what you want to do as far as repairing them.
Correct. So the report is broken down. It's pretty much, some people would say, is it a pass or is it a fail? It's not really that at all. It's just a snapshot of that house, how it was that day at that time and that moment we were there. Things change all the time. The wind we're dealing with in California right now, sometimes we have the heat in the summertime where an air conditioner one day could be working perfectly. Mm-hmm. 2 or 3 days later, it's not working or it's having issues heating or cooling the house. So when we go through, if there's something that looks out of place, we automatically flag it, that would need to be further investigated or further repaired so that it's up to its optimal operating efficiency. And that goes along with everything else within the home, whether it's something as simple as a drain plug in a bathroom, which sounds simple enough. Most time people, they just assume there could be some buildup of hair in there. But until you have a plumber that can go in there or a licensed serviceman to actually further investigate what the true issue is, it might be something far worse than that. There was a house I'd inspected where we had a similar issue like that with drainage, and the toilet was flushing fine, the sink was draining fine, but we noticed the bathtub was draining really slowly. Lo and behold, the seller, after we had done the inspection, forgot to tell us that their child had flushed a Matchbox card down the toilet.
Oh.
That made it past the toilet, but it was blocking the bathtub. So rather than just assuming, it's just a buildup of hair and, it's causing it to drain slowly, it was actually, there's a foreign object stuck in the drain. So it's always good to follow those recommendations, whatever it is, to further look into what the true root of the cause is.
Great to know. Great example there. The other thing I wanted to let people know is that one of the advantages of having a home inspection, if you go ahead and have a home warranty, sometimes a home warranty will want to see the home inspection to ensure that whatever was warranty was working at the time the home was sold, whether it be a dishwasher, hot water heater, garbage disposal, whatever it is. The home warranty will go ahead and say, was it working prior to you purchasing a home? And having a home inspection will go ahead and show them that the home inspector, a licensed home inspector, will go ahead and certify that it was working at the time of the sale.
Absolutely. And that's something that we run into quite a bit. Especially in California, how hot it gets, you're not from the area, it does get quite warm here in the summer, and there are times where the ACs run for quite a long time. And there was actually a house we did a couple months ago, and something similar like what you were bringing up about home warranty. 2 days after we inspected the house, the air conditioning condenser stopped working. And the current owner had a home warranty, but they didn't have their home inspection report because they didn't have their house inspected. So my report actually was able to prove not only was the system working, but it was dropping the temperature in the acceptable range, which would then be considered it was working at its optimal performance. So in reality, after that, everything took place, the home warranty company asked for a copy of the report because they knew that they were selling the home, and then the new buyer was going to be taking on the home warranty. So we were able to send them a copy of it to home warranty. They were able to determine that the air conditioning condenser was in fact working. And the next day they had one of their employees out there working on the unit. So it ended up saving the seller and the buyer at the same time.
Great, great, good to know, good to know. Well, Greg, can you give us any more information or tips about a home warranty?
Yeah, home warranty, I would tell people the biggest thing that you need to do is to follow up or just understand what the manufacturers of each operating system, what their parameters are as far as wear and tear or misuse and abuse, or just general maintenance. For instance, air conditioning companies, a lot of different units tell you after 2 or 3 years, you're supposed to have the unit serviced and cleaned every year to year and a half or 2 years, depending on who the manufacturer is. And that's something that's as simple as in the off season could be $100, or in the peak of summertime, it could be $300. But essentially it sends, a technician would come out and they would look at the air conditioning system. They would test the pressure, make sure the unit was dropping the temperature correctly. And they're essentially certifying their name and their contractor's license that that unit's working. But then the other side to it is misuse or abuse. There was a house that we had inspected and the oven was working fine. The big oven door that came down and open and close was fine. A few months later, they were having issues with the door. The home warranty company had called and they asked for a copy of the report. Long story short, it ended up that the home warranty didn't end up covering it because they had one of their friends' kids over there who was having fun time hanging out the oven door. So there are exceptions to it. It's not the catch-all. It's not the magic pill where
No.
it's covers everything. But it does come in handy. It does get things done. But you just have to know what you're up against as far as the rules and the requirements of each little home warranty company.
Well, Greg, I really appreciate you taking the time and giving us an insight of the home inspection of for the buyers or the sellers. And it looks like more sellers are getting the home inspection beforehand, just to understand what they need to go ahead and prepare to sell. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And for your information, Greg, give them your information where you can get a hold of you for your home inspection or any other questions, but I'll also put it down below as well.
Sure, absolutely. So once again, my name is Greg Dooley, owner of Secure Home and Property Inspections. Easiest way to get in touch is through a phone call or text. Number is 661-513-7965.
Okay. And always you can get a hold of me at Ron Smith, Ron at rmsrealestateteam.com. Should changed a little while ago. Or you can give me a call at area code 661-904-5313. Again, Greg, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And you take care.
Thank you, sir. It's great working with a professional like you.
Thanks.